Okay, now I'm going to discuss about the Kubernetes service. Previously, we have discussed like why we use the services over the replica set. See, services are the extension towards the replica set. Previously, the replica set is it used to act as a controller manager. Controllers are the object that used to make your pods into a desired state out of its current state, making the ready position. And the replica set, whenever some pod dies, it used to create a new pod. As I previously discussed, the IP address of a new pod will be different because the uh, pod, whatever it is getting deleted, uh, a new pod instead of it will be created parallelly or before that only. Means in the presence of the third pod which is getting deleted, a new pod emerges over there before it is get deleted. Therefore the new IP address will be assigned to a new pod. If you are getting access of a particular pod using the IP address, then the users were unable to get that, but a pod is created. For example, consider pod A with some IP address. Let's consider 172.168. I will just type over here 172.168 dot 0.1. This is the first pod. This is the second pod 172.168 dot 0.2. Third one 172.168.0.3. Okay, fine. These are the three pods that are getting that are created using the replica set. Let's consider the third one dies, and within that dying period only a fourth pod will be created, but it is assigned with a new IP address. But if you are asking, if you are pinging that particular pod, then there will be no use because you are pinging this pod with a 0.3 subnet, but the new pod that is created is will be 0.4. Therefore you are asking for it but you are not getting. For that purpose only the services are created. Services work in a different way. They have the labels and selectors. Labels, you will label your pod, and accordance with that it will select those and group, it will put it in particular group. In such condition there will be no issue as such for pinging that particular pod. You will be uh, you will get access to that particular pod using something called as labels and selectors. I have previously discussed about these all things. You can just go through it. Now I will just show you how actually things work. For that purpose, first of all, I will just log in into my particular Docker. Before that also I will just create some folder. Let's consider it is a Flask, that is for the Kubernetes demo. Okay, I'll just add that particular thing over here as a change directory cd and this Flask. Once it is done, I will create two files. One is app.py, second one is the Docker file. Once it is done, what I do, I will just go into the app.py file, and over here I will run my Flask application. um, I will run my Flask application over here, and for that reason I just paste it some boilerplate code. As you can have a look over here, this is a Flask application. Assigned this Flask module to my app. Now whenever my app is getting routed with a slash, it will return me hello world. And this is all about it. With it is running with a 500 port, and I just escape, save and exit. And now I am going to go with some different thing. uh, Over here I am going to go with the Docker file. First of all, I am going to check the present working directory. This is /root/flask Kubernetes demo. Okay, I will go into the Docker file. Once I log in over there, I just paste some of the things over here, and I'll just paste these things over here. This is the working directory /root/flask K8s demo, and this one is also the same root slash flask K8s demo. Once it is done, I will just remove this thing because I don't want to dockerize the app application. I want to dockerize this whole folder. Once it is done, I'll just change this Python to Python 3 because this is the current one. Once these all things are done, what I do, I just log in into my Docker account, because you are fetching the images out of there from the Docker hub to make it work over here. Therefore I just I will use a different thing. I'll just escape, save and exit. Once it is done, what I do, I just go for the Docker login. Okay, it is asking me for the username Shashank768 and the password is okay. Login succeeded. I just clear these all things. What I do, I just build the Docker file, docker build -t and my username slash the flask K8s demo, and dot. It is gonna create my Docker image of the Flask app what I am running currently now. Once it is done, I will just check whether it is particularly running or not before we deep dive into the Kubernetes manifest. And once it is done, we'll just look into this particular thing whether it is running fine or not. Once it is running fine, we will just go over there to check. Okay, I want all the Docker images. These are the Docker images. The latest one is this one. Okay, Shashank Y768. What I do, I will just push this particular thing over there, Flask K8s demo. Okay, once it is done, it is gonna push my image into my Docker hub. From that we gonna pull our image already exist. Okay, now what I do, I will just run the Docker file to check whether it is properly configured or not. This is Y768 slash flask K8s demo. Okay, it is running fine. Now what I do, I just clear these all things. After this I will just log in into the Flask replica rs.yaml, and over here I'm gonna paste the replica set. These are the replica set. I'm gonna post the API version is app/v1, the replica set. This is a Flask replicant, and okay, over here in the image I'm gonna add my username. Once it is done, save and exit. Once everything is done, I'm gonna use the kubectl to create the Flask replica set out of it .ml. Once it is done, I will just create a new tab. Over here it is gonna work. Now I just want all the pods that are running, the container creating. Once it is done, it will be fine. I just ask again for this. Okay, as you know, it is in a ready state, it is actually working. I will just want these things to be in wide range. Get pods -w. as you can have a look over here, these are the pods that are currently running. Before these things, I will just show you different one wide. As you can have a look over here, this is the IP address 192.168.1.4. This is 1.5 and this is 0.4. As you know, we have three replica sets that are currently running, three pods that are currently running. And what I do, I just delete one of the pod, delete pods, delete pods, pod flask replica set 9b k22. Okay, one pod is deleted. The flask replica set 9b k22 is deleted. If I ask for this one, as I can have a look over here, this is getting terminated, like it is getting terminated, and instead of this, a new pod is getting created, which is with a new IP address called 1.6. If the user is pinging the 1.4 for his usage and 1.5 for his usage, 0.4 for his usage, if one is getting terminated, then he won't be able to ping 1.6 because he don't know, the DNS server don't know that okay, you have created a new pod, but the you are assigned with the previous pod that is getting deleted. Therefore your page started showing 404 error because it is not found. And as you know, it is running with the new one. The previous 9bk22 is getting it's already terminated, and this is how we go with the replica set. But the thing is that as I previously discussed, a new IP address is assigned. New IP address is of no use. Therefore, for this thing, we're gonna use, the Flask service, the services. Over here, I'm gonna, paste the Flask one, the services. And I just escape. As I previously discussed, services are of many type. The first service is a cluster IP, second is a NodePort, third one is a load balancer. The first cluster IP, if you are using inside cluster, everything looks fine. But for the outside cluster within organization, you have to use NodePort. Like if you are in some sort of development team, then you're gonna use the NodePort. But when it is in a production version, you have to use the load balancer, because the load balancer will provide you a public IP through which you can able to assign some DNS and you can able to use that. And for that purpose only we use load balancer. The protocol is transmission control protocol, port is 80, the target port is 5000, because on the 5000 port only we are running our Flask application. The selector is app, and accordance with that label Flask, it is gonna assign those things, and we just save and exit. And after that we use kubectl create -f the Flask service.yaml. Okay, the services are getting created, and if I say kubectl get service, it will provide me some cluster IP. As you can have a look over here, this is the cluster IP. I will just copy this particular thing, I use the curl, and I just ping this particular thing using the http / and I will just paste this particular thing over here. This is the curl http. I am pinging this particular website or particular thing. When I just say it, hello world from Flask Kubernetes, this is what we call, because this particular thing is from the Flask application, as I previously discussed. As you can have a look over here, vim app.py. This says this particular route /route will say hello world from the Flask on Kubernetes. This is how we go with the services, the Kubernetes services. This is how we go with the Kubernetes services. This is all about it. Thank you.